her to stick it out for another year. If things didn't improve, they'd move back to her family in Keystone. The promise was a gamble. He hated Keystone as much as he hated the in-laws. And at the Gotham looked like it was spiraling into the abyss. But now, 9 months on, and he stood with his family among a throng of tourists on the Lady of Gotham's viewing point, he was satisfied that the gamble had paid off. There was a different feel about Gotham these days. Joker was dead, the nightmare of Arkham City was a distant memory, and crime continued to fall. Across the water, amidst the glittering lanterns of Chinatown, Halloween decorations were being hoisted high into the street. Dad, are you going to take me on the parade? Sorry, kiddo. Daddy has to work, but your mother will take you, right, honey? Ellen jabbed him into the ribs, smiling. Whatever you say, Officer Owens. Dang, this is before the Scarecrow is. Change of heart. More guns, Master. More guns, Mr. Wayne, said Lucius, eyeing the proposed specifications for the new Batmobile. They were in Lucius' office, Bruce's office, technically, though Lucius spent most of the time here. Bruce had turned up dutifully for the biannual department heads meet at Wayne Tech. Lucius had watched Bruce work the rooms, smiling and shaking the hands of senior technicians, biochemists, engineers, and software security experts, making just enough difference for informed conversation with Lucius' chief systems engineer to impress, yet not shock her. And then he and Bruce had retired here. Lucius doubted anyone else had noticed Wayne favoring his right leg as it recovered from whatever he subjected it to a night before. Can you do it? Bruce asked. All the easy charm for the meeting room was gone. It would seem like the unfriendliness to a casual observer, Lucius thought, but it was the opposite. Bruce did his friends, the people he trusted, the honor of not pretending. Lucius smiled. It wouldn't be easy. Wayne Tech had been out of the arms industry for a while. Could claim the guns for testing materials when he made the order. He reasoned and do all the prototyping alone. Why the change of heart, Mr. Wayne? Lucius, always a pragmatist, had long campaigned for a more offensively equipped Batmobile, just in case Bruce had resisted him until now. But ever since the Joker died, his employer had been not aggressive exactly. Lucius couldn't quite identify the change. Just in case, Bruce said as he left the room. Dang! Down the rabbit hole! The shears chipped and rusted blades squeaked open, narrowly missing the neck as they collected a soft clump of blonde hair. Mad Hatter. There, pretty, don't move an inch. Those bolted daggers smile more than a pinch. In a return, a whimper stifled beneath the duct tape. The thick duct tape. Hatter's grubby fingers gripped and squirmed around the cutter's oversized ears, once in each hand. Squinting, his tongue curled up into concentration. A pile of butchered wigs lay tossed behind him. This was the last one, and it had been a success. In for a penny, in for a pound. Let's hope it's just the hair that falls to the ground. Like a crocodile's bite, the shears clapped shut, following by the thundered wobble of a stool as Hatter hopped down to the floor to gauge his work. Wow, that was horribly mispronounced. Sorry, guys. Frabjous! What a win! Now the hairs of your chimney chin. Not the chimney chin. Yo, Jarvis! Yo, I'm dead! Hatter placed the shears down and picked up a cutthroat razor, delicately fanning over the blade as he turned to face his terrified creation, queen-like and flanked by a row of defiled mannequins. He couldn't get over how well the blue dress fit the man's slender frame. God, but then that's why he chose him. He'll do it for now, Hatter thought, until someone better came along. Someone just like his Alice. Oh, hell no! White noise. Ah! Okay. Langstrom surveyed the miracle of evolution displayed out on the table before him. Decimus rotundus, the common vampire bat. It was perhaps the most magnificent creature he ever studied up close. Aside from Francine, of course! Whoa! No! Don't get this sexual! Jesus Christ! So he studied Francine aside from Francine. I'm sorry, that sounded way dirty. That sounded way dirtier in my head. Like, whoa. Okay, Kirk. I mean, I guess like Victor, Kirk is probably the polite guy, but still, like, bruh. Langstrom dialed up the volume on the sound system and shut his eyes, letting Bram's third symphony swell in his ears. The music conjured memories of happier times with his beautiful wife before his diagnosis, before the rot set in. Oh yeah, because he was becoming deaf. That really sucks. It really sucks for him. The tinnitus had been subtle at first, like the low humming of a refrigerator to another room, a mildly irritating whine he couldn't quite place yet couldn't quite ignore. As the weeks wore on, the noise grew overwhelming until Kirk could hear nothing else unless he concentrated hard enough. The doctor's words, however, had been loud and clear. Kirk's affliction was a rare, chronic, and reversible. The thought of never enjoying his favorite symphonies again was agonizing, but it was Francine's voice he would miss the most. The subtle inflection she adopted when she teased him, and the way she laughed as though the little girl inside her had never grown up. Kirk wasn't prepared to let it all go without a fight. He was a man of science, for Christ's sake, and science would find a way. The answer, Kirk knew, was staring up at him from the dissection table. Ooh! Legacy! Okay, how long have I been talking for? And reading stories, and reading fun tales for you guys. Running nearly an hour! Okay, Bruce gripped his father's hand as the elevator rocketed skyward. Confined spaces still made him anxious, but his father provided him comfort, just as he did on all those nights Bruce would wake screaming, paralyzed by fear, reliving the moment he found himself trapped inside the dark, bat-infested cave beneath the grounds of the manor. He breathed a sigh of relief when the elevator finally slowed to a halt and the doors opened to the Thomas Wayne's plush new office at the summit of Wayne Tower. Take a look, son, his father said, leading Bruce to the vast windows overlooking Gotham's smog-shrouded skyline. The boy pressed his palms against the cold glass and felt a dizzying rush as he gazed down at the miniature city below. Gotham's been good to us, Bruce, and we have a responsibility to give something back. The tower is just the beginning of our legacy. A legacy I hope you'll continue on after I'm gone. Bruce looked up to meet his father's eyes. The thought of losing him had never crossed the young boy's mind, and suddenly Bruce was back in the cave alone, the piercing screech of bats filling his ears. Oh, no, that's just rude. That's just cruel, fam. Protocol. Okay. Nightwing grappled the warehouse roof and secreted himself in darkness. He chased the truck here and on foot and was using a technique Bruce had taught him to control his breathing. A plume of steamy breath could easily give away his position to the guards by the skylight. Not that they sounded very observant. I hate this stinking place. Give me Gotham any day, the first thug said. Yeah, Pseudo, we'll be back here. We will be back. There. Better than ever, his buddy replied. Okay. Nightwing was well aware of his adopted city's shortcomings. He just didn't need to hear it from these goons. He considered taking them out, sneaking further inside. No, best to do this clean. Still, no way we couldn't get away without something like this with the Batman around. What we gotta worry about here, Nightwing? He's like baby Batman! Baby Batman! Yo, not baby Batman! What are you expecting to do? Wear diapers? Oh my god, y'all are mean! To electrify skulls, cutting their laughter short. That nerve was as raw now as the day he left the manor. Bruce had sent him away like a parent packing a teenage son off to college. He wasn't grown up yet, not in like Bruce's eyes. Looking down through the angled glass, scores of men were busy at work. Hundreds of crates, thousands of guns. The operation was bigger than he thought, and it was heading back to Gotham. You missed this one, Bruce. This college kid was going home. Ah, masquerade. Screw Dad and screw Bruce Wayne. Barbara lost into through Wayne Manor, dropping the mask and cape from her masquerade ball outfit. She should have guessed that other people would have had the bat idea too. Not that it mattered. Whatever she wore, she'd still be 20 years younger than everybody else here. She'd rather Dad start dating again than drag her to these things. I know. It's like... At least she had her laptop. Thank God. She just needed an access point that wasn't buried beneath 15 layers of paranoid rich guy encryption. The library, maybe? Barbara pulled back the huge oak door and slipped into the room. Set her computer on the desk and... Damn it! We're not all billionaires, Bruce. Some of us need to check we haven't been outbid by the new pair of Eskrima sticks. In fact, Barbara decided, didn't rich guys like Wayne owe people like her a little unauthorized net access from time to time? She used the program she had written to crack GCPD's network. The time Dad left her sitting in an interview room during Bring Your Daughter to Work Day, it was fast and it found hidden networks too. Not that Bruce Wayne would ever need any of... What was entrance 6? The signal was strong, close by. Even stronger than the library wireless. In fact, what the hell, Barbara thought, as she tore off its defenses apart. She felt it before she heard anything. A cold gust of air as the bookcase beneath her disappeared. Behind her disappeared. Oh, so she's entering a new world. Payback. Okay, payback. Penguin yelped as his foot broke through a sudden floorboard. Moments later, one of his bodyguards burst into the room, brandishing a pistol. I heard a scream. He saw Penguin trying to extricate himself. Boss, what's wrong? What does it look like? The bodyguard scrambled to find the words. He hoped it wasn't a trick question. Never mind, Penguin barked. Just help me! Holstering up his gun, the bodyguard kept Penguin free and started brushing the watery pulp from his trousers. Get out of it! Penguin snapped, finding his balance between a windowsill. Out there, looming above, Gotham's latest monstrosity, Wayne Plaza. This was my own mad study, Penguin proclaimed. I'd kill him if he had to see that proxy thing day and night. Cobblepot Manor had been derelict for years, left to rot. In Penguin's mind, just the way Bruce Wayne wanted, a permanent reminder of defeat. The bodyguard was tugging a strip of wallpaper. So, I guess we wait for the compensation, huh? Not likely. Penguin scooted back as the broken floorboard, dropped to his knees, and plunged his arm into the hole. You think I'm waiting around for Gotham City to comfort? You've got another thing coming. With that, he pulled out a yellowing wad of paper, the deeds of a company operating out of Bloodhaven Nord Refrigeration. Penguin pocketed his ace up and lit a cigar. Don't count on the Cobblepots out yet, Mr. Wayne. Oh. Dollatron. Mr. O'Neill staggered to the spotlight, alone, gripping a briefcase. Alone, the harsh light steps into the circus tent. We're a black boy. He squinted, trying to focus. His sleep-deprived mind was playing tricks. He thought for a moment he could see an audience. Welcome! A voice boomed operatically. The spotlight shifted. There he was, the pig-masked man who summoned him. The professor, standing proudly behind a small boy, his blood-stained hands, fingers running through these delicate shoulders. A pained murmur sounded from the child, muffled through the plain white mask, face mask. At its edge, a shoreline of weeping, fused flesh, his salted slug of tongue writhing in the mouth slit. Jeez! The horror wasn't unimaginable. It was there in front of him. In fact, just as he was a parent and this was his son, butchered and transformed, O'Neill's stomach imploded and bent him double, retching into the straw of bedded ground, and then he's Daddy Man is upset, whined the professor. Daddy Man was not pleased with our work. He loosed a terrifying squeal. The young boy moans like a busted instrument. I got money! O'Neill wiped the bile from his mouth, then popped the briefcase and threw it to the ground, wads of green packed tight. Give me my son, please! The professor shook his head. Not your son now. My Latron. Before O'Neill could fathom the meaning of that word, something caught his eye. There in the void they had been watched. Faces shuffled closer. Plain white masks, dozens of them, encircled. Sons, mothers, fathers, once like him. Oh, the morbidity of it. Okay, scar tissue.